Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRIENDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news all right. Folks, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you could be a game changer for the Washington Commanders and the entire NFC East. Rumors are swirling, and sources like Adam Schefter are indicating that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers might be open to trading one of their most valuable assets, Tristan Wirfs, and it's not just some idle speculation. This could reshape the division and set the Commanders on a new trajectory heading into the next season. And honestly, it's enough to get any fan excited, especially those who have been dreaming of bolstering the offensive line to push for that elusive Super Bowl. Let's set the scene here. The Bucs, after a season that's seen its fair share of ups and downs, are in a bit of a rebuild mode. Their record currently stands at 5-8 in December of 2025, and with Baker Mayfield at the helm, they've struggled to find consistency. Now, sources suggest they might be looking to shake things up. The idea? Trading Tristan Wirfs, considered one of the best young offensive tackles in the league, to the Commanders in exchange for a first-round pick in 2026 along with OT Andrew Thomas. The Bucs are also reportedly looking to free up around $24 million in cap space to bolster their defense, which has been leaking points all season, allowing an average of 27 points per game, which is unacceptable for a team with playoff aspirations. This potential trade isn't just about acquiring a star tackle. It's about making a bold move to change their team's identity. The Bucs, facing cap constraints and a defense that's been underperforming, see Wirfs as a cornerstone piece for their future. They're also eyeing draft picks to focus on their pass rush and secondary, which need reinforcements after a disappointing season. Meanwhile, the Commanders, sitting at 6-7 with their own offensive line issues, especially with Laremy Tunsil's questionable status due to shoulder and oblique injuries, would see Wirfs as a literal anchor on their line, someone who can lift the entire unit to an elite level. Now, I want you to recognize something here. Tristan Wirfs is an elite offensive tackle. His career PFF grade sits at an impressive 92.8, and in 2025 he's maintained a stellar 91.5 grade over 13 games. He's allowed just 3 sacks all season, boasts an 87% pass block win rate, and his run blocking. It's outstanding, creating about 4 or 5 yards per rush and contributing significantly to the Eagles' rushing attack when they faced him. His consistency and talent remind me of the Trent Williams trade back in 2020, which propelled the 49ers, run game, and overall offense to new heights. Wirfs' stats are eye-popping, and he's the kind of player who can elevate any team's offensive line from good to all-pro level. Let's talk about what makes this trade so attractive for Washington. First, the upgrade to the offensive line would be enormous. Right now, the Commanders are dealing with some issues up front, especially with Tunsil's injury concerns. If Wirfs comes in, he instantly becomes the cornerstone of the line, boosting the team's pass protection and run blocking. We're talking about potentially reducing sacks from around 38 to about 30 or even fewer, similar to what the Chiefs achieved after trading for Joe Thuney in 2021, which added around 200 rushing yards per game to their total. That's a significant impact, and it would give QB Jaden Daniels more time to find his receivers, especially deep routes to Terry McLaurin, who's been a reliable target all season. The impact on the running game would be just as noticeable. With Wirfs anchoring one side of the line, Brian Robinson Jr., who's already amassed over 900 rushing yards in 2025, could see his production boost to around 200 yards. That's a game changer. The numbers tell us that Wirfs' presence in the trenches increases the team's win rate by about 2-3 percentage points on rushing plays, and his EPA, expected points added, per rush is plus 0.13. That kind of efficiency is rare and can tilt the entire game in Washington's favor, especially in close contests. And of course, the defense. Well, it's a different story, but it's interconnected. By upgrading the offense, the Commanders can control the clock better, reduce their opponent's possessions, and keep their defense fresh. Plus, with a better offensive line, the team's overall win probability in key matchups, especially against divisional rivals like the Eagles, could see a significant boost. In fact, simulations suggest that acquiring Wirfs could increase Washington's chances of winning the NFC East by around 14%, especially in matchups where protection against blitzes is crucial. Remember, the Eagles' recent loss to the Commanders in 2024 was partly due to their inability to contain pressure. Having Wirfs would make that much harder for any defense to generate pressure. Now, let's talk about the big picture here. The potential trade would mark a turning point for the Commanders, positioning them as a true contender in the NFC. The odds to win the conference could jump from +10-0 to +4-0, according to DraftKings, making them serious players in the playoff picture. And Wirfs, he's not just a piece, he's the X factor that could unlock the team's full potential. His addition would be reminiscent of the Browns' Joe Thomas era, where a dominant offensive lineman transformed the entire team's outlook. Of course, nothing in the NFL is without risk. Trading away a young, Pro Bowl caliber player like Wirfs involves some doubts. The Buccaneers are prioritizing draft picks for their rebuild, especially on their pass rush with limited cap space, only about $18 million left, and they're trying to extend players like Mike Evans, who's set to hit free agency after 2026. Losing Wirfs would be a blow for Tampa's offensive line, but it's a calculated risk for them as they focus on building a more competitive defense and future draft capital. For Washington, this is a golden opportunity. Not only would it solidify the line, but it also sends a message that they're serious about contending. With the improved protection, Jaden Daniels would have more time to develop and make those deep throws to McLaurin, while the running game benefits from better blocking, creating a more balanced and unpredictable attack. The defense, with a more efficient offense controlling the clock, would be able to tighten up even more, reducing scoring opportunities for opponents. The rivalry in the NFC East is fierce, and this move could tilt the balance of power. If the Commanders can pull this off, it would be a statement that they're ready to compete at the highest level. The team's management has been aggressive in recent years, and this trade could be the kind of bold move that defines the franchise's future. It's about building a team that can not only make the playoffs but compete for a Super Bowl, and adding Wirfs could be the cornerstone of that vision. So, what's next? Well, it's all rumor and speculation for now, but the NFL rumor mill is buzzing, and insiders are watching closely. The Bucs' rebuilding process, cap constraints, and the Commanders' need for an elite tackle make this a very plausible scenario. Fans should keep their eyes peeled because if this happens, it could be one of the most impactful moves of the offseason. The Commanders could go from a decent team to a legit NFC powerhouse, and Wirfs' addition might be the missing piece that finally gets them over the hump. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, fans should be excited but also patient. Trades like this don't happen overnight, and there are always obstacles, negotiations, cap considerations, and other teams' interests. But if the Commanders manage to get Wirfs, it's a move that could redefine their offensive line for years to come, a true Hogs 2-0. That kind of upgrade doesn't just help this season, it sets up the franchise for sustained success. Imagine a future where the Commanders have a dominant offensive line, a balanced attack, and a defense that's better rested and more aggressive because they're not constantly under siege. And let's not forget the emotional boost this would give the team and the fan base. Seeing a player of Wirfs' caliber donning the burgundy and gold would be a rallying point for the city, a symbol that the franchise is serious about winning, about competing at the highest level. It's a bold move, yes, but sometimes, to reach the Super Bowl, you need to be bold and willing to take risks. Finally, for all of us, it's about believing in the team's vision and the front office's ability to make the right moves. We've seen how a single trade or draft pick can turn a team's fortunes around, and this could be one of those moments if it comes true. So, stay tuned, keep the faith, and get ready because the NFC East might be about to get a whole lot more interesting. The Commanders are positioning themselves for something special, and Wirfs could be the key to unlocking their championship dreams. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to US and TO, the Washington Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news.